Hello, welcome to the Sports and Train Show, radio show. I'm the host, Sam Zitello, and my co-host, Bryce Noel. Bryce, introduce yourself.
So hi, I'm Bryce Noel. I'm a sophomore here at YSU. I'm a sports broadcasting major with a history minor. How have you been?
I'm doing all right. My name is Sam Zitello. I'm a general studies major. This is my third, going on fourth year here at YSU. That's about it.
Well, I do say it has been a wild ride in the world of sports pretty much in the past couple of months. With the Guards losing in the ALCS to the Yankees and the Yankees possibly facing elimination here tonight against the Dodgers. But at least look at the bright side. I mean, pretty much is what's next for them, pretty much.
Yeah, it's been kind of wild. The other night, Freddie Freeman had a grand slam.
Yeah,
Game
walk-off.
one, which was really wild. I was watching that game, and it was like, oh, holy crap.
Yeah.
There's something, it's everyone went crazy. It was at the bottom of the 10th, and two, it was one of the Yankees' best pitchers out there that was pitching for them. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, October moments are at its best, especially during the World Series or the ALCS or whatever round it is, maybe. I mean, honestly, as a diehard Guards fan, as long as you have been also, it was a tough exit for sure. I mean, of course, the Yankees have been pretty much in elite business in baseball for as long as I can remember, probably back to our great-grandparents' age pretty much. But just as a fan in general, watching all these games from April to now October, it just kind of feels like we saw a rendition or a reincarnation of 1995, just less wins.
I agree with that. I feel like that since Stephen Vogt took over the managing job for the Guardians, I think that changed. I felt like the mojo there in the clubhouse changed a lot, and it's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, ever since, the Tribe got on that hot start before All-Star break, from May to about late July, early August, I mean, I thought we were about to see, the reincarnation of the 1995 team who only won 100 out of 144 games instead of the full 162. But, highlight players from that team. You have the Nailers, you have Jose Ramirez coming out strong. And then the guys that you don't really expect to even be good anymore. David Fry. I mean, he's been a very huge addition for them. He's just been a great ball player all around. And, of course, he made his first All-Star game back this past July in Arlington. And I just thought that was just a crazy moment alone. It was just surreal seeing a name I haven't heard of in the past ever, pretty much watching baseball, and to see a name that I haven't heard of at the corner of Carnegie and Ontario. It's just been insane.
One thing that, especially the young pitching staff we have, it's really interesting. Like Kate Smith, Hunter Gaddis, and Tim Herron, all those guys. That's pretty big. They helped us out through the whole season.
A lot, yeah.
But then in the playoffs, it just
kind of went down. I mean,
it's like they fell apart.
It's not just in the playoffs in general. I feel like they've been a dominant force in the Detroit series, but however, they've been that dominant that their kind of magic wore off against the Yankees. I mean, of course, everyone knows the Yankees. They have had a long, long storied history of being successful. I mean, not just pitching, but in the field and with their offense. I mean, look at them now. I mean, yeah, they're in Game 3 of the World Series tonight at 8:08 on Fox, but just our team alone, I feel like, has done such a great job ever since Vogt took over back in, March? Yeah, February, March. But, just the guys that they have now. I mean, you have vocal leaders now of this team, like Stephen Kwan, for example, who was a finalist for the Roberto Clemente Award pretty much a couple days ago. They brought back Austin Hedges fresh off a World Series. I mean, dude literally just won for the Texas Rangers this past October, and now he's back pretty much right where he belongs, and he's been kind of like the voice of their team in that clubhouse along with Vogt. But I feel like just alone for the 26-man roster that goes on the field day in and day out, I feel like he's definitely been a voice and a vocal force for him.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would like to see Austin Hedges back.
Yeah, for sure.
For next year and years to come. Also, I like to see our young guys like Brian Rocchio.
I think
Manzardo and
Will Brennan,
John Kenzie Noel. Because
I
think
think
what he's doing. It's like,
I mean, and this was a kid that has been in Columbus for what, 5 years, 6 years? No, probably since 2016 actually, because he was part of that.
He was like a no name.
Yeah, he was a no name. Everyone thought he was going to be a minor league for life kind of player, that he wasn't going to make the big show, and then of course he makes his MLB debut just past June probably, and then
I think it was July.
Yeah, June or July. It must have been right before or immediately after All-Star break. He just
took off.
Yeah, soared and took off to new heights like no one's ever expected, and he's just been kind of that dominant force at that right fielder position. Of course, Will Brennan has taken over his spot a few times, but I feel like the Tribe in general is going in the right direction. Even though it went off on a bad note this year, I feel like in 2025 that it's going to be great for sure.
I believe we could really do really well next year. I do think we're going to win 100 games next year, actually.
Yeah, honestly,
I feel like if everyone's healthy,
no
one gets hurt, if we're on the right track, and if we, go out during the offseason and pick up, like...
maybe a couple of guys, yeah.
Like, there's a bunch of free agents out there now that are looking for places to go. And it's like, oh, maybe Cleveland could go get those guys, but it's the money.
But however, is it realistic enough? I mean, arguably, we've had one guy in particular that Vogt was actively trying to pursue during the trade deadline, and of course it came from a poverty franchise in our own division. I mean, the Chicago White Sox trying to get Garrett Crochet.
Oh, yeah.
He's been a very, very, very dominant force for the White Sox team, despite them having the record for the most losses in a year.
Oh.
Also, another one who is presumptively going to be the American League Cy Young Award winner, and that's Tarek Skubal. He's been absolutely lights out, shut down baseball.
Let's talk about him for a minute, because...
Tarek Skubal,
here's the thing. Back during the trade deadline in July...
Cleveland was actively pursuing him.
He was like a very big candidate to come to Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of predictions, like trade deadline predictions, and everywhere is pointing to Tarek Skubal is going to join the Cleveland Indians.
But that didn't happen, sadly.
Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But if you look at Tarek Skubal's stats, he's 6'3", 240, and he's on November 20th, he's going to turn 28.
He's got a long career left in him.
He has a lot.
And I can see him winning more than one Cy Young reward here in the next few years.
I mean, if it's not this year, it's definitely going to be within the next 5 years. He's going to win at least 2 or 3. I mean, if you look at his statistics, he's literally top 3 in every single pitching category pretty much ever. I mean, 18-4 record, which is tied for the best in baseball. 2.39 ERA, second best in baseball. 228 Ks, best in baseball, and the second best in the game with a 0.92 WHIP. But just this dude alone, and if I had to compare it with past Cy Young Award winners, this is looking like a younger, stronger, healthier version of Corey Kluber when he won it twice.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that.
But sadly in a Detroit Tiger uniform.
Then you look at the NL Cy Young. Who's going to win that? Well, that's
arguably
obvious. Paul Skeens, because there's no doubt about that.
He is a strong candidate for it. I mean, if I had to pull up his statistics real quick.
He had a really good season.
Yeah, no, he had a hell of a season.
It's sad how Pittsburgh just...
What's actually funny is that he is not that many days older than me, actually. He was born May 29th of 2002. He's 22 years old. I was born June 14th, 2002. I was 22 years old. 6'6", 235. That's a big man.
Yes, it is.
Coming at you with 100-plus mile-an-hour balls straight down the middle of the plate. Statistics-wise, of course, nothing to compare to Tarek Skubal's, but definitely pretty darn close to it. 11-3, 1.96 ERA, 170 strikeouts, and a whip of .95. Arguably, as a rookie, that's very, very, very remarkable by him in that organization. However, his organization's not that good to back that up. But, however, his Pirates on September 28th beat the Yankees.
Yeah, I saw that.
In New York, which is wild to me. I was like, wow.
Kind of wild. You're right, because it's the Yankees.
And he actually started that game, in New York against, I believe it was Garrett Cole.
It had to be Garrett
Cole.
No,
Lucas Gill.
Oh.
Luke Gill, actually. He pitched, I think, one of the first 3 games in our LCS game.
I'll tell you what game he pitched.
Because I know Yasmani Grandal headlined the scoring. Then Nico Gonzalez made it 2-0. 5th inning, Cook hit a 2-run bomb in the 5th. Then Jazz Chisholm made it 4-1. Triolo made it 6-1. Stanton, in a crazy sequence, made it 6-2. And then Jazz Chisholm made it 6-4. Yasmani Grandal, an RBI with Richie Palacios. Yes, that's a former Indian that you know of.
Sadly, he got
gypped out of a great team that he could have actually had it. He could have had.
There's a lot of players that
I wish we still would have had back.
Never got rid of.
Yeah, I mean, if you really look at it,
especially one Lindor.
Oh yeah, that I mean.
Well, man, it ended up in a good way.
I mean, I feel like they won that trade now, years later. But like, if you would have told me back in 2021 when they traded him, and it's like, oh yeah, he's going to lead the Mets to the NLCS and be very close of beating a very, very, very strong and talented Dodgers team, I literally would have thought you were nuts. Like, I put that on my life. If you would have told me that Lindor in 3 years would have led the Mets to the NLCS against the Dodgers like that, I literally would have thought you were crazy. Like, I'm not even joking about that. Like, Lindor for the Mets organization, I feel like it's a plus side, even though it's heartbreak for us in Cleveland, for sure.
Rondon pitched game, I think.
Rodon, yeah.
Yeah, he pitched game 2 for the Yankees against us. And, yeah, of course, the Yankees beat us.
Arguably, I think
5-2.
I think that game 2, we had that in the bag, arguably. Because I feel like, yeah, it's one game whoop-de-doo, but like...
It was also against Garrett Cole.
Of course.
Yeah,
I
think that we had like little of any to zero chances. However, during that game, we did have chances to score more.
Yeah, but we can't...
But we refused to do anything.
Arguably, that is the weakness that Cleveland had, especially in this playoffs. I mean, and this goes back to the Detroit series even, that they had a lot of opportunities with runners in scoring position, and they just failed to do it. And,
exactly.
Which has been the major annoyance for this team, watching it as a fan and just being a baseball basically know-it-all for a lot of years now. But, like, if you have a guy on first and you have Jose Ramirez coming up and he's facing, I don't know, a nobody pitcher out of the Chicago White Sox, you know pretty darn well 100% he's going to knock that crap out of the park like 100%, 450 feet. But if you have, like, runners on the corners, it's 2 outs, bottom of the 8th, and you're up by, like, maybe 1 or 2, you want to extend that lead. Like, you have to capitalize on moments like that. Like, example, like maybe Luke Gill, or tonight's actually starting pitcher for the Yankees. I can't remember who they have.
I will look.
Clark Schmidt, I think.
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to look
there,
right
I got
now.
it. Yeah, Clark Schmidt. And I remember Clark Schmidt in the CS against us. He didn't necessarily do that well, but I'm not saying he's not that great either. I mean, Walker Buehler starting for the Dodgers tonight. Of course, he has a loss in the postseason with a 6 ERA, which is not great knowing a Dodgers pitcher in the postseason. But Schmidt, of course, 0-0, 3.86 ERA.
That's not good when your ERA is 6
on the nose.
6.00.
Yeah, 6 on the nose.
And it's like, what the heck? Like, that's... You guys are only like a game away from winning it all, and you're bringing a guy out that may
blow it.
Yeah, may blow it for you.
I mean,
it's like
Walker Buehler, of course, when he made his debut, I thought of Ferris Bueller right away. A Ferris Bueller's Day Off back in like the 90s, and that's what everybody thought. But
I want to talk about. There's a guy on the Dodgers. His name's Alex Vesia.
Vesia. Okay.
My dad actually is friends with his, I don't know, cousin, I'm guessing? I don't know.
Really? Okay, yeah.
Because he's from Arizona.
Yeah,
Vesia.
and Vesia is from Alpine, California.
Yeah, so it's like, so it's a kind of a cool thing, actually, to watch someone you may know.
Yeah.
Out there. It's like,
it's actually crazy, like, connections-wise to anybody in sports. I mean, arguably, one of my dad's coworkers, like, I don't know, 2017, 2018, actually knew, like, they were the cousin of a former Ohio State player. It's actually crazy to know that. I mean, of course, the most famous person in Youngstown, Jim Tressel. I mean, everybody knows Tressel now. I mean, if you can't mention the word Youngstown, Ohio without mentioning Jim Tressel, and that's the same thing in Columbus.
Oh, yeah. Jim Tressel's a big thing. I have met him, and I have talked to him a few times.
Yeah, same here. I mean, he's
a really cool dude.
He made YSU football a thing, like a national attraction. I mean, if you look at, yes, Penguin football definitely was a sight to be told in future generations about what happened this past Saturday night in the castle under the lights. I mean, it was just...
That was kind of wild. I did not go to the game. However, I muted you over there. Sorry. I was home watching it on my computer, and it was really wild. It was like, it went over to overtime. I'm like, oh, holy crap. This is wild. Like, well, finally we're going to win a game. So YSU's now 3-6.
Yeah, 3-6, 2-3 in the Missouri Valley Conference. Not the best of what I've seen out of YSU. Of course, I am a videographer for them. I work for them. I get paid to go film the home games in the Ice Castle, and then occasionally go to road trips away from Youngstown, Ohio. But of course, the main attraction of that Penguin offense all night pretty much is our sophomore quarterback in a New Middletown Springfield, Bo Brungard. He is just a different man. I mean, I was fortunate enough back when he was in high school at New Middletown Springfield to watch him play, and I'm thinking, I go to Youngstown State. I know the coach of their football team. I'm going to go try to recruit him to go play for Doug Phillips in Youngstown State. And, and he is fortunately, based off my theory, I believe he's my second cousin. Because he's a cousin of my family's, and he knows my family very, very well. And, if I look at ESPN right now of how it all unfolded, pretty much all 4 quarters plus OT.
It's kind of wild.
We struck first with 8:47 left. 4 minutes later, North Dakota scored. Then North Dakota scored again, missed the PAT to make it 13-7 with 13:04 left in the first half. Then Bo took it to make it 14-13. Then they scored, make it 20-14. Then Bo again, in an 8-play, 72-yard drive, makes it 21-20 at the half. And then Simon Ronfo of the Fighting Hawks offense makes it 27-21. Then Bo again with his third rushing touchdown makes it 28-27. And then Andrew Lustafka, our junior kicker, Andy, he made a 34-yard field goal to make it 31-27 at the end of the third. Then of course, a rushing touchdown by the Fighting Hawks to make it 34-31 with 9:13 left to go in the game. Then Andy again made a 35-yard field goal to tie it at 34 all at the end of regulation with 12 seconds left to go. Then an OT. Tyshawn King Penguin, of course, the king of the castle, takes it in from a yard out to make it 41-34. And then Simon Ronfo makes it 41-40 And then that's where the high intensity, the high stakes moment began. And like they made the touchdown, it was 41-40. And I remember sitting there thinking that when they were going for 2, I was like, oh man, is YSU really going to blow this game again and lose in a heartbreak fashion like they've been well known to do, is just blow it in big moments? And then the 2-point conversion, he tried to pass it to one of their O-linemen. Actually, North Dakota tried to pass it to one of their O-linemen, and he dropped it. And, of course, game over.
I saw that. I guess they tried to do a 2-pointer.
Yeah, they tried to do the 2-point conversion. Yeah, they tried to do a 2-point conversion, and then they ended up failing. Flag on the play. Ineligible man downfield. Penalty. YSU wins 41-40 in an absolutely electric, ecstatic environment here in downtown Youngstown Saturday night. And I literally just sat there laying on the floor against my back looking at the sky like LeBron James did all 8 years ago in the finals against Golden State. Said, finally.
That's kind of wild. And also, there's only one more home game of the season.
Yep, you can catch...
It's actually a day game. It's
yes.
12 o'clock p.m. start.
Yeah, you can catch the YSU Penguins at the Ice Castle one last time on Senior Day. They will be playing the University of Northern Iowa Panthers. You can catch that on ESPN Plus on TV. And, of course, once again, you can view it on 570 WKBN. But, of course, transitioning from Youngstown into Columbus.
Oh, yeah, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Holy heavens. They
barely won the game.
Hours before YSU did, which is actually
really
kind of
wild.
Insane. Yeah, because everyone's talking about Dylan Raiola this. Oh, Dylan Raiola is the next great Nebraska quarterback. Oh, no, he's just a Walmart Patrick Mahomes is what I've been hearing, is just a Walmart Patrick Mahomes. He pretty much is. I mean, he's taking his number, taking all his pregame gear, his haircuts, Patrick Mahomes. He looks like him. He talks like him, everything like that. I was like, oh, yeah, Ohio State's just going to casually drop 40 points on Nebraska's head and be done with it. No, it was closer than ever, which I didn't realize that. I mean, Ohio State kind of scared me a little bit, and I think a big issue with Ryan Day's offense is just their offensive line and the men up front. I mean, torn, broken down, beaten up with injuries, and you have to move people from the normal positions out of position and try something out on the fly. But, I mean, luckily they won with it, but it's not the Ohio State team that I normally see dropping 40, 45 points a game. And definitely next week when they take on, this upcoming Saturday at noon.
It's this Saturday against Penn State in Penn State.
Yeah,
and
Penn
actually,
State, yeah.
My one friend I saw
3 versus
yesterday,
4.
He's going there, and the tickets are $300.
Well, yeah, because it's Penn State. They're the third best team in the nation going up against their arch rival pretty much. And, just that environment is just going to be insane in Happy Valley. Unfortunately, I will not be able to attend that. Good thing I'm not attending that, because if I try to step foot in Happy Valley, I might get beaten up or I might get shouted a lot of negative things at me for being a Buckeye. But, of course, I've been a Buckeye for a long time, and now there's nothing short of just clear hope for them heading into the final stretch, which after Penn State, they have Northwestern, they have
Oregon,
Purdue. They already played Oregon.
Yeah, they played that. They have Purdue. Hold on one second. I got the
Purdue,
schedule here.
Northwestern, number 13 Indiana, undefeated Indiana Hoosiers, and then they have the game on November 30th, big noon kickoff on Fox from Columbus. Yeah, the game to decide it all.
They play Indiana.
Indiana, I don't know how they're still
on
undefeated.
Saturday, November 23rd.
Yep, which is pretty much Thanksgiving.
Columbus.
Yeah, it's the weekend before Thanksgiving break, pretty much, because I know the 25th or the 24th is pretty much the end of this part of the semester into Thanksgiving break, and I just can't wait to, live the tradition again and watch Ohio State absolutely beat the ever-living daylights out of Michigan, I hope. And hopefully Ryan Day can actually keep his job if he beats him.
Saturday, November 30th at 12 p.m.
On Fox.
On Big Fox.
Yeah, big noon kickoff on Fox. Of course, Gus and Joel will have that from Columbus, Ohio.
You don't want to miss that, because that's going to be very interesting.
If you're from the state of Ohio, I got to know one thing. Who's your favorite Ohio State player of all time? Of course, mine has to be from our national championship team, Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, my favorite play, recollecting my memories of Ohio State football, my favorite memory of Ohio State is when they played number 1 Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. It was the first year of the 14 college football playoff, and they played Alabama in New Orleans, and it was like the third quarter or whatever, and Zeke took it 82 yards straight through the heart of the South, and that was literally the key turning point of that entire game, and that led to a Buckeyes victory over the Tide and beating the newly crowned Heisman winner at that time, Marcus Mariota, and then they won the first ever playoff national championship against the Ducks. I mean, that was just a legendary moment for me, and of course that made that year very special because I remember that summer of 2014, I believe, is when LeBron announced his return to the Cavs, and of course the rest is history from that point on.
Cavs, they are 3-0 right now this season.
Wild.
Which is really wild. The last time they were 3-0 was the beginning of the 2021 season.
Yeah, it was right after COVID. They started out 3-0, and
they have a new head coach this year, which I'm kind of excited to see how they do with that
me too.
coach.
I
think they will make the playoffs. I really do.
Yeah, they'll at least be a top 5 or 6 seed heading into the playoffs. I mean, I don't think they'll fall that far behind unless they get really beaten down and battered with injuries like they have been the past few years.
So far, they have a whole healthy team, which is very good.
If you're a Cleveland sports fan, that's really good.
That's what you want. Even that's what you want to see with the Guardians going into spring training of next year. We'll talk about that more, getting close into that time period, because that's going to get interesting when we start talking about, spring training, regular season stuff in February, March of 2025, because a lot of things are going to change over the offseason, and we're going to talk about it here.
And, of course, key questions of the offseason, I mean, I'm sure everybody in Cleveland has now after that loss to the Yankees. Who do they keep? Do they keep 2020 Cy Young winner Shane Bieber? Do they keep Josh Naylor? Do they keep whoever it is that they have key free agents? I mean, Alex Cobb, who they got in deadline acquisition from San Fran. Do they keep him?
I don't know if they're going to keep Alex Cobb, but I really think they're going to keep Matthew Boyd.
Oh, most certainly.
Because
he's been dominant, especially against his former team.
He's very good. And he could really help the Guardians for a full-time season.
Yeah.
A full season under his belt with the Guardians will be good.
Yeah, for sure.
I could see Ben Lively doing really well.
Yeah, for sure.
If he doesn't get hurt, that's not an issue. If we lose another pitcher to John Mayton surgery, that's going to really hurt. Because we lost Shane Bieber at the beginning of the season. And
literally, game 2?
What's going to happen here?
I was like, oh, great. The Guards aren't going to do anything. They're not
going to
have...
A lot of people thought the Guardians are going to go
dead in the water.
70-80 or something like that.
Yeah, 72-84 or something like that. And that's what I love about all this hate. Because it's
I don't like when people doubt us. It's like, hey.
It's like the motto of YSU last year. Leave no doubt. End of story.
It's like, why would you doubt us?
You can't do that.
I see all the MLB people saying, oh, yeah, the Guardians are going to finish third
third in the Central or last in the Central.
It's like,
they're going to be the same exact team from 2023. It doesn't make any sense to me. I get it that we didn't we had a lot of beaten, battered, broken players last year, but however, we got pretty darn close of winning that Central Division.
I think the reason why people are doubting us is because of
a new manager.
Not just that. It was because we really didn't make much trades during the offseason last year.
Yeah,
it was
not even this year. We didn't even make any noise during the deadline in July. I mean, yes, we got Ben Lively from Cincinnati. Lane Thomas, huge.
That was a big help during the playoffs, too.
Huge hope.
That big grand slam that took place on Game 5 against Detroit and Cleveland.
I remember that. I remember watching that entire game from that crack of the bat. I thought, good night, Detroit.
Yeah, that was kind of wild. Then, what was it, Game 3, I think it was?
Yeah.
Against New Not Lane Thomas, David Fry, and John Kenzie Noel. These guys,
Game 3 of the CS. I remember that.
It's like
back-to-back innings.
I'm going to try to find that clip. I'm going to play that clip.
Oh my goodness, that clip will always sit there rent-free, and arguably that's the best call of Tom Hamilton, arguably in my opinion. Second to when Carlos Santana back in 2016 in that ALCS against Toronto that sent Cleveland to its first World Series since 1997.
Yeah, that was kind of wild.
Against the Blue Jays out of all teams. You would have thought that, that Blue Jays team is going to go a lot of far places. Lo and behold, no. Got close in 2022, failed. That East is just not competitive anymore.
That was kind of wild because I was watching the TV. My dad fell asleep on the couch upstairs. So
Nice.
I'm downstairs.
Wow.
He didn't even realize that the Guardians came back and won Game 3. And I came upstairs. I'm like, hey, Dad, the Guardians won the game. He's like, huh? How? I'm like, David Fry tied the game.
No,
it was John McKenzie Noel that tied the game. Then David Fry came up and finished it.
And won it, yeah. I remember I was at worship night for Chi Alpha on the Christian organization that I'm part of on campus. They meet Tuesdays from 4 to 5:15 in the Schwabel reception room. But I remember I was at worship night. It was in the middle of the two sides of the Edge apartments. And it was right when we started the worship service that I checked my phone. We were down, actually. It was like 5-1 or whatever.
It was. It was like...
Yeah, it was like 5-1, and then it was like 5-3. I was like, oh my, are we starting a comeback? And then John Kenzie Noel made it 5-5, and then I was like shouting for joy. I was trying not to be super loud when it was 5-5, and then I had left that service when David Fry hit that game winner.
The call on TV was very interesting.
Well, yeah, because Rick Manning.
It was not Rick Manning. It was on TBS.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It was on TBS, and it's like, oh my, what?
There she goes.
There she goes. It was like,
yeah, it was just...
Like a big present under the Christmas tree. It's something like
that. It was. Christmas came early in Cleveland with that, for sure.
And here's the clip. I'm going to play this for the microphone here.
Yeah.
I'm going to mute you, Bryce.
Okay.
He's the tying run, 5-3 Yankees. John Kenzie Noel was used as a pinch hitter 16 times in the regular season, had one hit. It was a homer. Oh my goodness! Big Christmas has tied it! The ultimate present under the tree! Oh my goodness! John Kenzie Noel! The biggest swing of his life!
That was wild. That was
Cleveland.
It's like the grand slam that
Lindor
did in 2017.
Off the Yankees, off the foul pole.
That still
is just an iconic moment in Cleveland history as of late. I mean, of course,
you have to look back at 2016 when
Rajai Davis tied the game
hit that home run on Game 7 in the World Series.
Yeah, tied the game, and of course,
we lost that game, sadly.
Rest in peace to that team, pretty much. I mean, we pretty much unloaded that entire team, except for probably Kluber and Tom. No, I mean, we didn't really unload that
I don't know whatever
team.
happened to Josh Tomlin. Do we even know whatever happened to him? Because he vanished off the face of the earth.
Yeah, and then decides to come back during the Detroit series. Was it the Detroit series that he came back and threw that first pitch, or was that the Yankees?
It was against Detroit.
Yeah, it was.
But I'm not sure what game that was.
It might have been 5, actually.
It
might have been
game
5. Or
is it at home?
4. Yeah, it might have been 4.
Well, 4 was in Detroit.
Yeah,
so
it might have been
there.
Yeah, No, it was 5. I believe it. I think I don't.
I'm
really
not sure,
know, but
I know, like, if we made the World Series, I guarantee that, like.
Oh, so he retired in 2021, the year that the Braves won the World Series.
Oh, who did he play at that time with?
So, from 2010 to 2018, he was in Cleveland. Then, after the 2018 season, it was the winter of 2019. They sent him to Atlanta.
Oh.
Then 19, 20, and 21 is where he finished off his career. But, of course, his best career
average is probably in Cleveland because he was a very good pitcher for us. He was one of the starting rotation for us.
Oh, no. It was in Cleveland. Actually, was it?
I would think.
No. His best ERA year, actually. Oh, no, yeah, it was. Okay, I was right. So his best ERA year ever was when he posted a 3.02 the year before we went to the World Series.
Oh.
Of course, that World Series year, he went 13-9, which was very good. But however, his ERA 4.40.
That's very interesting.
Actually, speaking of Cleveland baseball, I want to do a little bit of trivia with you. Actually, to test your knowledge of the Tribe. Of course, I'm most likely going to know.
I'm hoping here very soon. I don't know when this is going to happen to the people that are listening.
Yeah,
we could have call-ins. I'm not sure when that's going to start.
Yeah.
Once I know more, hopefully maybe in the next 2-3 weeks.
Here we go. Okay, question number 1. The Cleveland franchise began with the New American League in 1901, joining 7 other teams. The team was called the Cleveland Blues. Later, they changed the name to the Broncos, Naps, then took the Indian name in which year? 02, 1915, 1960, or 1988?
1915.
Is it? It was not 1915.
Oh.
What
was
year?
it 19?
Oh, wait. I think it might have been.
Because that sounds about right.
Yeah. 15. Yeah, probably. Question number 2. In which season was Cleveland's first trip to the World Series? 04, 1920, 1984, or 1963?
1920.
Yes, it was, where we won
that
first ever. Only one Cleveland player in the first 100 years of the franchise batted over 400 in a season. Who was it? Ernie Banks, Honus Wagner, Ty Cobb, or Shoeless Joe Jackson?
It had to be Shoeless Joe Jackson.
I want to say, yeah, but did Shoeless Joe ever play in Cleveland?
I don't feel like he did.
I really don't think.
I really
actually,
don't.
I could look real quick to see if he ever played. No, actually, did he legit play? Because I know he was most famous for 1919 in that Chicago Black Sox scandal, because it was the 1919 White Sox.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Actually, okay, so he did play with the Cleveland Naps Indians from 1910 to 1915, but he was part of the White Sox from 1915 to 1920.
Oh.
So I don't think I want to say Honus Wagner because it seems right.
Yeah.
It seems right.
I know for a fact that Bob Fowler.
Yeah, Feller. Yeah,
he was one of the greatest Guardians players.
Now, I already know this answer, but I want to see if you know.
One of the good ones.
Which of the following Indian managers took the team to a World Series championship? Tris Speaker, Walter Johnson, Tom Lasorda, or Casey Stengel? Tris.
Oh.
It's Tris because I remember reading that the other day.
That's interesting. I don't know those names.
Yeah, me neither. How many times in the first 100 years of the franchise did Cleveland win 100 games? 11, 24, 31, or 2? What do you think? I want to say in the first 100.
How the heck do we know that?
I don't know, actually.
Because that's kind of impossible.
Okay. You'll probably know this. The Cleveland Indians team name was named after which baseball player? Chief Joseph Torre, Chief Charles Bender, Chief Luis Sock Alexis, or Chief Moses J. Yellow Horse Malone? I know, because I've told you. You might not have remembered. It was Luis Sock Alexis, who was actually on that 1920 World Series team, actually.
That's interesting, because I did not know that.
But,
I didn't know some of those names.
But here, this is about the 2016 Cleveland Indians. Here. This player led the team in RBIs with 101 in 2016. One Was it Kipnis, Jose, Mike Napoli, or Carlos Santana that had the 101 RBIs? It wasn't Jose because Jose was fairly new.
Jose is like it was brand new then. His
Yeah,
rookie
this
year
was only
was 2015.
Yeah, I was about to say there was his second season.
Yeah,
ever.
it was just only.
I want to say
Jason Kipnis.
Kip. Yeah, I mean it seems right. This
That
player,
or Carlos Santana.
This player led the
one.
team in batting average, hitting .312. Rajay Davis, Jason Kipnis, Frankie, or Jose. I want to say Frankie because he was just that good at the time.
I would say Frankie Lindor.
This former Cy Young winner paced the club's pitching staff with 18 wins. Corey Kluber, end of story.
That's Corey Kluber.
Carrasco never won one. Bauer never won one. And Danny Salazar never won one either.
I feel like Carrasco could have won one. I feel like that.
There's this one. And we were just talking about him the other day. This left-handed reliever was acquired during the season in a trade with the Yankees. His performance in the postseason was a key to the Tribe reaching the World Series. It was either between Cody Allen, Mike Clevenger, or Andrew Miller.
Andrew Miller.
Absolutely.
That's pretty obvious.
I want to say this Cleveland Indian was the lone position player to represent in the 2016 All-Star Game. I want to say, Francisco Lindor was the lone position player.
I would believe it was.
Yeah, I believe so. Was Francisco Lindor. Yeah. Cleveland swept this team in the American League Division Series, the Boston Red Sox. I remember watching that series absolutely 100% because Lonnie Chisenhall sent them to the pennant.
That was 2016.
Yes, it was. In the ALDS, we played the Boston Red Sox.
We didn't win against the Boston Red Sox in 2007.
Oh, no, because, Tito was that manager at that time and led them to that world championship.
That was way before he came to Cleveland.
I remember this. In a bizarre accident, this pitcher injured his hand while working on a drone, resulting in stitches and greatly affecting his ability to pitch in the postseason. I can definitely tell you this much, but it's Trevor Bauer, because I remember that World Series where Trevor Bauer cut his finger and it started bleeding.
Yeah,
from that.
I really didn't watch some of that World Series until Game 5.
Oh my goodness, I watched it from 1.
Because
everybody knows
really
who the Tribe beat. Everyone knows who the Tribe beat to win the pennant.
Only reason I found out about the Guardians were in the World Series that year was through school.
Wow, actually, that's crazy.
One of my class aides, she said her husband and her kids were watching one of the games. Who's in the World Series? And she said the Cleveland Guardians.
The Indians, yeah.
I'm like,
what?
What the?
He was the unlikely hero of Game 1 of the World Series, driving in 4 runs in the Indians' 6-0 shutout win over the Cubs. I believe that was Mr. Usain Naquin, I believe.
I believe that was Naquin, yes.
Yes.
I do believe that.
Final question before I have to head out of here for a meeting.
Yeah,
Another unlikely hero hit the game-tying... Yep, we were just talking about this just now. Rajay Davis hit the game-tying 2-run bomb in the 8th inning, forcing the game to 10. And
that
of course... I
didn't stay up for that because I had school the next day. So it's
this was my freshman year of high school, and I remember after Rajay tied it, I was like, "Oh yeah, I think we have this in the bag. They're going to bring Andrew Miller in the 9th, and game over. We're world champions." Wake me up and tell me how the game went. I wake up. My dad was like, "I got some bad news for you, son," and I was like, "Yeah, Dad, what is it?" Cubs are world champions. I was like, what? No, you're joking, right? It's like, no. 8, 7, and 10. And, of course, being 14 years old at the time, I just about cried.
I was a junior in high school.
Wow. That's actually crazy, though.
It was kind of like, oh.
Oh, sorry. The player that led the team in RBIs, actually, it was Mike Napoli, actually.
Where is he at now? I know he's retired.
Napoli?
I don't know what he's doing now these days.
I think he's probably a coach.
I believe he's a coach, but I don't know exactly
I think
where.
Mike Napoli, actually, he is, he retired. I don't know exactly where he's at now, but, he was the first base coach of the Cubs. I was like, really, the Cubs? Why the Cubs, man?
That's sad. Yeah, because we gave away Jason Kipnis.
Dirtbag to the Cubs.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, the player that led the team in batting average, 312 and 16, it was actually Jose. That was the breakout year. By June 28th,
interesting.
before June 28th of 2016, he literally batted in every spot in the lineup, 1 through 9. That's insane.
That is insane,
Yeah,
actually.
Kluber was the former Cy Young Award winner. The left-handed reliever was indeed Andrew Miller. The Indian was the lone position. The lone position player to represent Cleveland in the All-Star game. I was right. It was Francisco Lindor. Of course, he would. Yeah, of course, the website now says, eventually be traded to the Mets. Yeah, we all know that. Thanks, Dolans. You suck. Cleveland swept this team. Yeah, the Red Sox. Actually, the bizarre accident. Wow, that's actually crazy, though. It was actually Trevor Bauer, that bizarre accident where he injured his hand because it said the drone injury occurred prior to his Game 2 start in the ALCS. It required 10 stitches, was ruptured during Game 3 of the ALCS and forced him out of the game. Yes. Here was the unlikely hero of Game 1 in the World Series, Roberto Perez.
Yeah, he was one of our good catchers.
Yeah, that's actually crazy enough.
And now where is he?
San Francisco.
Oh.
Yeah, he went
He's been all over the place. He's been with Pittsburgh.
And then San Fran now. After
I think
he
played San Diego, didn't he?
No,
he got hurt?
he was Pittsburgh. He got hurt. Never played really. Then he went to.
Oh, I'm thinking of
Gomes.
No,
probably.
No, the one I'm thinking about San Diego was Clevenger.
Mike Clevenger. I remember it was like during COVID. Him and Zach Plesac were playing the Cubs. They're in the hotel. And, of course, there was protocols, like you can't really leave. Mike Clevenger was the one that left during protocols, and that's why they benched him and traded him to San Francisco. And Plesac admitted it, but, however, Plesac also was let go that day, which is surprising. I think he might be still.
I don't know where. I know he's not with the Guardians club no more. He's
not in Columbus or Akron. So
I know there's a lot of guys down in Columbus.
Yeah.
Right now there's
Carrasco, who
I do think he's going to probably be
McKenzie's in Columbus for sure.
Both him and McKenzie's going to get traded this offseason.
That's the third guy. Arguably, if I had to make a trade for Paul Skeens right now, I really want it right now. It'll be a high draft pick.
I have a feeling that we got
2
get
high
Paul
draft
Skeens
picks
for whatever reason.
Maybe. Honestly, it might be, or we trade Bieber to Pittsburgh to go get him.
And
that's a realistic. It's a realistic scenario.
It is. It's like
because it's a washed-up Cleveland pitcher or a washed-up Cleveland player like Pittsburgh loves to take, and it's Paul Skeens, a young guy that we need, and he's been a dominant force.
And if he wins the Cy Young, well, you know for a fact you're going to get a really good arm. And you know he's going to get you through like 5-6 innings of a game.
Absolutely.
Or more. Depending on how he does.
Yeah, if Vogt wants to keep him in. But it'll definitely be a great winter acquisition, and it'll definitely be an earth-shattering transaction for the corner of Carnegie, Ontario. But, of course, wraps up the sports segment. So long, everybody. This has been Bryce Noel, and, of course, off to Sam Zitello with some NASCAR. Sam?
All right, yeah. Thank you, Bryce. That was fun. Now I'm going to talk about a little bit of what's going on with NASCAR, because there's only 2 more races left in the regular season. Well, not regular season, until the championship. This past weekend, they were in Homestead, Miami, Florida. And it was very interesting. All 3 series raced there this weekend. The trucks, the Xfinity Series, and the Cup. Both the trucks and the Xfinity Series races were on Saturday. Starting with the Truck Series that took place at 12 p.m. on Saturday afternoon on FS1 with the winner, Grant Enfinger. That's his second win of the season and his second win during the playoffs. He has officially locked a spot in the Final Four that will take place in Phoenix at Phoenix International Raceway on November 9th on FS1 at, I think I have a time here. Give me 1 second. I have to look because I don't know. It's somewhere on here. But yeah, I think it's Friday night. on November 9th is when they will crown a champion. There are 3 more spots are left to grab for that championship race. And it's going to be very interesting because now they go to Martinsville. They have a little tiny short track in Virginia where tempers can flare. And it could get really intense, too. All 3 are racing this weekend to close up the final 3 spots. For, well, actually 2 in the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series. In the Xfinity Series, the 2 that are locked in are AJ Allmendinger and Austin Hill. They are Allmendinger won at Las Vegas, which I was very quite surprised with, and I'm a big Allmendinger fan. I actually have watched him race for years, and he was a former IndyCar driver back in the early 2000s. He was actually really good. That's something I want to talk about one of these days, is about that stuff, like the different drivers and different racetracks. Right now, I'm looking at the point standings, the current driver standings. Corey Heim is number 1, Grant Evenfinger second, Tristan Eckes is third, Ty Majeski fourth, and Raja Kuruth fifth. Those guys, well, the only guy that's locked into the championship 4 is Grant Enfinger, but technically Corey Heim could be locked in by points. But if he wins, yes, he's got until Martinsville to do that. But technically, it could be anybody, really. It just depends. That's the Truck Series standings. The Xfinity Series standings. Justin Allgaier. This guy, man, he has not won a championship, and it's kind of sad. He has came so close for years at winning one, and he just can't ever do it. Phoenix is one of his good tracks. Martinsville is another good track for him. It's very weird. I know that for one. I know on Wednesday we are going to do the Martinsville preview. We're going to talk about who we think that's going to win, and look forward to next Wednesday where we're going to cover that, and we're going to go over the preview for championship weekend, which is going to be very fun, and talk about sports, football and stuff that happened the weekend before. The winner this past weekend for the Xfinity Series was Austin Hill, that drives for RCR, the 21 car. I'm not a very big fan of Austin Hill. He kind of makes a lot of drivers mad. It's kind of crazy. He did some stuff, crazy driving. Last year, his teammate was Sheldon Creed, which drives the 18 car for Joe Gibbs Racing down in the Xfinity Series, and those two didn't get along really well with each other at all, and it was kind of sad. Sheldon Creed's, I feel like he's just very unlucky because he has never won a race in the Xfinity Series, which is really sad. He gets, every time he gets close, something happens. And that's like Parker Kligerman, too, which he almost won a couple weeks ago at Charlotte. And then NASCAR decided, we're going to throw a caution because there's a car stuck in the barriers. The car was right on the finish line, and the white flag was out, technically. But NASCAR decided at the last minute, throw a caution. It's like, just let them take the white flag and just call the race. That turned into a very big controversy I won't really get into. The playoffs have been very interesting for all 3 series is the Truck Series. They have a shorter playoff schedule than the other two because they don't race as many races than the other group does. Going towards like the Cup Series, that's the major leagues of NASCAR. Yeah, that is very interesting. The Cup Series, it's a 10 race playoff bracket, pretty much. 16 drivers start the playoffs, and after every 4 races, 4 drivers get eliminated, and it's quite interesting. Then it goes down from 16 to 12, then 8, then 4. So this is right now round 8 of the playoffs. And yesterday, Tyler Reddick won the race on the last lap of the race, going by Ryan Blaney, which almost won the race. And sadly, he's not locked into the championship 4, which I'm kind of bummed because I'm a big fan of Ryan Blaney. And it's kind of sad. Tyler Reddick, he's driving for 2311 Racing. If you wonder what 2311 Racing is, it's co-owned by Michael Jordan. Yes, that Michael Jordan. Also owned by Danny Hamlin, another Cup Series driver. He drives for Joe Gibbs Racing, the 11 car, the FedEx car. He's another one that's very unlucky. He has never won a championship. He has came close to winning a championship. However, the last couple of years, not so good. 2022, he got eliminated at Martinsville because Ross Chastain decided to do a wall ride. He decided to wall ride the whole wall on turn 3 and 4. Yeah, that was quite interesting. That move got banned by NASCAR. Yeah, don't ride against the wall. Yeah, don't do that. Besides that, it was a 267-lap race yesterday. It had some cautions, a bunch of spins. The really unlucky candidate of that race was Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson blew a tire. It was, I think, stage 1 or 2 of the race. He just blew a tire and hit the wall. Then he fell back to a 32nd. Then he made it back to the front. Then, I don't know, 7, 8 laps to go, he's trying to pass Ryan Blaney for the lead, and he got stuck in the middle between him and Austin Dillon, and spun out. Yeah, not so good. He's right now -7 in the playoffs, below the cut line. That's not normal for him. Usually he makes the Final 4, but this year it doesn't really look like it. It's kind of sad, but oh well. Because I like to see somebody else win it instead of him, or somebody that's in Hendrick Motorsports equipment. I would like to see somebody that, would, like Tyler Reddick. That'd be kind of cool. Someone different. He's very talented at it. Or Ryan Blaney. He won it last year. And he won Martinsville last year, actually. It was a very interesting track. Martinsville is a small track. It's like a paperclip. It's like a little tiny track in the middle of nowhere, Virginia. That was very interesting. I guess I go back a couple races. Las Vegas. Joe Logano won the Cup race. He locked himself into the championship 4. I'm not very excited for that exactly. I'm not a very big fan of Joe Logano. I was not very happy that he won. That was kind of sad. The Xfinity Series race was won by A.J. Allmendinger last week. That was on Saturday night. And yeah, that was quite wild because the race went into overtime and he beat out Ryan Sieg, driving the 28 car. You may be asking yourself, who is Ryan Sieg? Ryan Sieg is a underdog candidate to win a race. He's not a big name like some other guys, but he came very close this season to win a few big races. He almost won back in Texas in the spring by very little margin. Him and Sam Mayer finished a photo finish at the finish line, which was actually really neat. I didn't watch the whole race because I was busy that day, but I seen videos. That was really neat. There's some other really cool finishes that happened this season. Kansas in May, we had Kyle Larson and Chris Buescher finish 1-2. Very close. One of the closest finishes in NASCAR was 0.1 seconds at the finish line, which that's the closest margin in NASCAR history. That was wild. I was watching that on TV. It finished in darkness because it rained there. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. It was really neat. Kyle Larson ended up winning that race. Road courses of this year. That's been quite interesting. I'm not going to talk really about the Cup side of things. I'm going to really talk about the Xfinity Series side because we have a new guy on the scene this season that's going to win a lot of races in the Cup Series and on the road courses coming into 2025 because he's going full-time Cup racing next year. That is Shane Van Gissenberg. He is he's from New Zealand. He drove the sports cars down there, and he decided last year that he was going to come up and race the Chicago Street Course. Now, NASCAR never been on a street course race ever. So he said, I'm going to take a chance with Trackhouse Racing. And he did. And he drove the 91 car. And he went out and won the race. No one expected that. No. Like, this random guy just comes up and stuns everybody. Okay, cool. Then, after that, it's like, I want to come up and race these cars. It's like, okay. That kind of shocked everybody. So, he decided he's going to race a couple more races. He didn't race too many that rest of 2023. Come 2024, he's got a full-time Xfinity Series ride with Colleague Racing. And he drives the 97 car, the WeatherTech car. It's a neat car. I like the paint scheme. It's really neat. And yeah, I was very surprised how good he is. And he won quite a few races on the road courses. He got wrecked in the first road course of the season when him and Austin Hill and I believe it was Kyle Larson, they were racing at Coda. And yeah, the final lap of the race, they banged and bumped, and it was really crazy. Then he went ahead and won Portland, Sonoma. He didn't win Watkins Glen. He won the Chicago Street Course for the Xfinity Series. he got wrecked out in the Cup race. Yeah, not necessarily his fault. He just got ran into. I think it was by Chase Briscoe, which that was kind of sad. He did end up winning a race, Chase Briscoe, back in Darlington in September. He drives a 14 car for Stewart-Haas Racing, which Stewart-Haas Racing ain't going to be a racing team much longer. After the season, Tony Stewart is getting out of NASCAR. So his team's gone bye-byes. Good news for the drivers, though. Most of them got rides. Josh Berry's going to the 21 car, drive for the Wood Brothers. Chase Briscoe's going to drive for, who the heck is he racing for? Joe Gibbs. He's replacing Martin Truex Jr., because Martin is retiring after the season, and he's getting, and Noah Gragson is going to Front Row Motorsports, driving, I believe, the 34 car next year. I could be wrong. I know there's a lot of changes with that team. I know Michael McDowell is leaving the team, and he's going to Spire, which is very interesting. Not many people expected that, especially what Spire did recently. They changed drivers. They swapped drivers. They swapped Corey Joy of Justin Haley, which I have no idea why, because Justin Haley yesterday spun his car more than once at Homestead, which not good at all. He's all right. He won a race in the Cup Series like 6 years ago, and he raced for Spire then, which, okay, fair. He came back to Spire, maybe he's going to do good. No. So far, no. Corey Joy went to, where the heck is he racing? Cody Ware's team. Rick Ware Racing. Yeah, not the greatest at all. That team's kind of mid, and they're not usually the greatest team out there, obviously. Maybe one day, who knows? You never know. There's some of these teams that are down, are always counted out, may win. It's like other sports. You count other teams out, well, guess what? They might win and surprise people. That may happen. We don't know. No one knows. NASCAR is unpredictable. Any races you go to, it's like, watch. It's like, oh, who's going to win this? Oh, you think, oh, man, he's going to win. No, that guy might win. Super speedways. That's always unpredictable. It always is. Especially Daytona or Talladega. We have seen multiple different winners at all those tracks this year. We had in Daytona in February at the Daytona 500, William Byron won the 500. And actually, I have the diecast of that car. It's sitting downstairs in my family room. That'd be another subject for another day. Talking about diecast and model trains, because that's going to be fun to talk about. They're not cheap. No. Then Atlanta Motor Speedway. They raced at the following weekend after Daytona. A 3-wide finish that had Daniel Suarez, the 99 car for Trackhouse, that won the race. I was very excited for that. And last week, I actually got the diecast of that car. And very detailed. I'm very happy with it. Diecast are if anyone knows what die-cast are, and they're very, very cool items. I have quite a few. I own quite a few NASCAR die-cast. And I got tons of wins. I do have a door number car. I actually, the Talladega win from last year for Ryan Blaney, I actually got the door number 12. I was very surprised. Very shocked I got that. The one thing that I was not very happy about when I got the car was the rear spoiler was off of the car. I don't know what the heck happened in shipment, but when I got it, I opened the box. I like, that spoiler should be on the back of the car. Why is it in the box? So I told my dad, like, hey, this might have to get re-glued. And he's like, oh, maybe I might not be able to be fixed. I'm like, okay. And I looked at the door number, I looked at the DIN number, I'm like, I think we need to do that because look at the door number. It's the 12. It's the DIN number 12. I'm like, oh, crap. It's like, yep, not going to get rid of that. Nope. Not sending that back to Lionel. I never had to send anything back to Lionel yet. Never really had any issues besides one of Ryan Blaney's championship die-cast. The back axle, I think, of the car, I don't know what the heck happened to this thing, but it's loose. I don't know how to fix it. I don't think I'm going to send it back to Lionel. There's no reason to. Because it's like, it's minor, nothing major. If, like, the whole thing was missing, yeah, I would. I know for model trains, yeah, well, I guess right before we get into that, I'm going to talk get a little bit about what we're going to talk about Wednesday. Bryce is going to be back on the show. He's going to be on here the whole show, so we're going to have him on here. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. A lot of sports, trains, anything really that has to do with whatever. Getting into trains. Yeah, that's one of my big hobbies. I am a very big fan into model trains and actual real trains. The model trains are very expensive. If you're looking to buy like a Lionel Vision Line Big Boy, it's about $3,000. Yeah, you heard me right, $3,000. Not very exciting. No. That's very expensive. I don't own one of those. I do own a Big Boy, though. I have a HO model of a Big Boy. It's the Broadway Limited Imports Big Boy. That thing goes for almost $800 and something retail. I paid $602, I think it was like that, for that locomotive. Very, very detailed locomotive. It's expensive, yeah. Well, what else is new? Then I have the UP844 NHO. It's from Broadway Limited also. It's a Northern. It's not as big as the Big Boy as necessarily, but it's a big engine. It wasn't cheap either. I think I spent about $500 on it. It came from the same company, but it's how much money things cost now these days. I kind of figured that's how much that was going to be. Then I look at pre-orders. I have right now a few things on back order. I have the Norfolk Western 611 on order from Scale Trains. That thing was supposed to be here around Christmas time, but it got delayed. Now it's scheduled to arrive end of February, early March of next year. I was not very happy to hear that. Not good. The other item, I feel like I won't see this thing probably until 2026, by the way it sounds like, is a Cardinal River nickel plate 765. It's a brand new company that's making the nickel plate Brookshire. It's really cool. It's going to be a fully detailed locomotive, just like a rendition from the real model. They took all the scans and everything of the real 765 and the other surviving Brookshires. I didn't have to pay for it yet. However, when I had to, it would be about $715. Not cheap. Not for a brand new model that just got made from a new company. The only issue is, I have no idea what this engine looks like yet, the model, because they haven't posted a pre-production model yet, and they're saying by the end of the year to have one, but now it sounds like the first or second quarter of next year, we're going to hear something about that. I'm like, oh, so when are you expecting to have your model out? That's not good. You expect people to order these engines and what we're going to do? Wait for what? 5 years? I have heard a lot of really silly things about pre-orders. That especially. Lionel and MTH are known for that. And sometimes you have to wait a long time. I had an engine on back order. I pre-ordered in 2015. Didn't get until about almost 2017. It was a Lionel Legacy diesel. And I was mad. Because it was originally supposed to be delivered in July of 2016. That changed. August, September, then October, then November, and then December. I'm like, wow. Okay. Nice. I guess I have to wait for that thing. Then, fast forward till now, like February of this year, there's a guy on YouTube I watch. If anyone wants to watch it, I recommend him. Eric Trains. He has a huge O-scale layout in Georgia. He has a really cool YouTube channel. He does reviews, all kinds of stuff. He does custom runs, like special stuff of certain locomotives and cars and stuff like that. And this year he decided, he's going to do a 460, a little small steam engine, not too expensive because he didn't want to make an expensive model because of people don't want to pay like $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 for a O-scale locomotive. So I say, we're going to do one that's about $640 to $700. Okay. He makes it. I pre-order one. But he also made a speeder. The speeder has all it came. You wonder, where's the 460? Not yet. Not here yet. It's, last I heard, it will be here sometime this coming week, maybe next week. I probably have it by mid-November, probably. Depends on how fast they ship these things. Lionel is known during the holidays to ship stuff really crazy, and there's always something coming out. I know for a fact that I don't have nothing else on back order from Lionel. Well, yeah, I do, but the item doesn't come out until next year. That is the nickel plate PA set. It's an ABA set. It's a legacy set. Yeah, gonna have to spend about $1,500 when I get it, which I'm not very excited to do because I have a bunch of other pre-orders of diecast, which, yeah, That's been a common thing. Me pre-ordering diecast. Lionel likes to, if you say, oh, okay, I'm not gonna pre-order anything else for a couple of months, whatever. Then they decide, oh, hold on, we're gonna throw this out there. You have to pre-order it. It's like, oh, okay. So I get some really interesting diecast that's going to be coming out. I think there should be some coming out here in November. I'm not 100% sure. I believe one of those diecast is the William Byron, Kyle Larson, I think, and Alex Bowman throwbacks from May of this year. I know the Chase Elliott version of the car ain't coming out for a while. So that's interesting. Lionel Racing has done stuff with Lionel Trains too, but they haven't done anything with them in ages. They used to make train sets. I actually had one. We sold off all the stuff. It's like it was out of date. It was, one of those normal stuff that you really don't want no more. It's like I could buy something nicer than that. So I had that. Other interesting things is the HO models and how delicate those things are. They are. Especially the scale trains models. The scale trains models are very detailed. Scale Trains is one of the best detailed manufacturers in HO alone. Even N scale too. And the only thing you do not want to do is mess up any of the details. Because a lot of the details are little teeny tiny pieces that go onto these engines. And it's like, if you drop this thing, you're damaging the thing. Back when I was little, I dropped a few things. I was young. I really don't know. Things didn't really break. They were fixable. We had one incident in our basement where my dad decided to fly the helicopter. A little helicopter. He bumped it into one of our engines and it knocked off the layout. That was not fun. It was bad. That was quite some time ago. Back in the beginning of this month, there was a train show. I went to the Berea, Ohio train show. You may be asking yourself, where the heck is that at? It's up there by Cleveland, not too far from the airport. It's at the Cuyahoga Fairgrounds. It's every October. It's a big show. A lot of us, me and my dad, and a bunch of our friends go to the show. We spend a lot of money. We never go out of there without nothing. It's like, I think this year we spent maybe about $700, which was really ridiculous because what we ended up buying. Because we ended up buying a brand new locomotive. I bought it, technically. It was a Scale Trains ES44DAH, I think? Or DC, I'm not sure. Or AC, something like that. And it was a Conrail Heritage Ant. It was the Norfolk Southern Conrail Heritage Ant. Yeah, there's the real one. I've seen the real one, I don't know, quite a few times. That thing, because Conrail used to come through our area here in Northeast Ohio, and it was one of the big railroads here. So was the B&O. I will talk about that here in a few minutes. The very detailed, it has sound. the Continental Heritage Inn. It was, I think, $200 and something. Retail $339 for it. So, like, oh, nice. A place called Spring Creek Trains out of Deschler, Nebraska. They come to the show every year. I didn't realize go in there and buy stuff. We never leave there without anything from their booth. We spend a couple $100 at the most. Yeah, there's a couple people that I think we were standing in front of. The guy bought like over $1,000 worth of stuff. It's like, holy crap. I don't think I could spend $1,000 on all trains. Well, maybe, but maybe once I get a really good job. But not right now, though. And yeah, our friends, they spent a fortune because they got layouts too. So do I. Also, part of our group, we go to the Sebring Train Club in Sebring, Ohio. On Saturdays, a bunch of us guys go and hang out there, run trains, have fun, do all kinds of stuff. Right outside of the building is the Norfolk Southern Main Line. Oh yeah, right next to the active train line. That sees about 40 trains a day, sometimes more. It's always busy. It's always got something going on. It's like you could spend hours there. There's days you could sit on that line and see nothing. That has happened multiple times. I think it was maybe about 10, 11 years ago. Me and my dad sat in Salem waiting for stuff, and one train came and nothing else. This was like a Wednesday or Thursday of the week. Like, where is all the trains? Like, we have a scanner. Nothing ever came on. Dead silent. Like, what the heck happened here? That always happens. And also, the problem is you sit next to train tracks waiting for a train, and you see that it's maybe about an hour from us, maybe necessarily. Okay. Sitting there, darkness. Oh, that's what frustrates me. When you wait for a train for hours, then it gets dark, and the train comes through in pitch darkness. I don't know how many times that has happened to me. This happened, I believe, end of August of this year. There was a train called M332 something. I don't even know the date of the thing. Came out of Avon, Indiana, heading to Cumberland, Maryland. I think at the time it was going to Baltimore. It had the CXX 911, the first responders engine. It looked like a fire truck. And in the middle of the train, it had CXX 1836. The Fredericksburg and Potomac engine is a heritage in it. Okay, cool. It left, I think, Crestline, Ohio at I don't know what time it was. 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock. Okay, cool. It went for Greenwich. It entered the Newcastle sub, the main line. So me and my dad went to Lordstown. So it's going to probably be here, around sunset. Sat there. A very few reports of it came out. And I'm starting to wonder, like, oh, great. This is good. This train's going to be a night train. My dad's like, where's this train at? I'm like, I have no clue. And finally, someone updated it, and it was in, like, Warwick. It's like, what the heck? Okay, Oh, boy. So, it took another hour before it was pitch dark. It was like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. I mean, no, it was later than that. Like 9 something? I don't even know. I was just annoyed. I was mad. So was my dad. It was one of those days where, whatever. It's like, oh, it's going to be one of those days. Yeah, that has happened too. You know, trains, they tell you, oh, he's on duty. Okay, that means the train's on call. The crew's on order. Okay, so, maybe give them about a half hour to an hour sometimes. It takes to depart something from wherever they are. It's like, still sitting there. An hour later, it's still sitting there. It's like, why are they still sitting there? Come on. And it finally departs, and it's like, an hour from dark. It's like, oh, that doesn't help us. Great. We don't have a spotlight. Some of our friends do. I don't know if yeah. Some of our friends do have spotlights. One of our friends, I don't think he has it anymore, but like a year ago, we knew it was a night train. It was, I have no idea what time that was. It's like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And the freezing cold. It was February. And we decided to go to Lordstown because I think it was another M332 train. It had a KCS Gray Ghost. Yes, they do have engines that are painted like that. And it was leading the train over a UP engine. And we kind of figured, like, it's going to be another one of those night runs. And so it arrived in Lordstown about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. It's probably 40, 35 degrees outside. We all standing out there. And it's like, yeah, let's freeze, standing outside waiting for a train. That has happened a lot. I mean, a lot over the years. It's like, okay. Another topic I'm going to probably bring up, not today, but probably Wednesday of this week, is going to be a topic that I think a lot of people might be interested in knowing. I'm going to kind of mention it here. Over the years, I have spent like 24 hours watching trains. Yes, 24 hours. That's not fun. To some people it might not be fun, but it is fun. It's hanging out with a bunch of people like watching trains. And at one point, I think it was like about 10 years ago, we gone back a ways, Conrail Historical Society used to host 36 Hours of Berea. It was a popular event. It ran from 2010 to 2014. Yeah, me and my dad went to it from 2011 to 2014. Spent pretty much every year there for about 28 hours. Slept in the car. Yeah. I'll get into it more because of the craziness that involved in that. Because it was like, holy crap moment. Like, it is really neat. They don't do that now these days, sadly. One of our friends, he works for Norfolk Southern. He hosts it's usually in June or July. He hosts a all-nighter in Westfield, New York. It's a railroad park next to the CXX Erie West subdivision and the Norfolk Southern Lake District. It's really neat. Bunch of guys just come up there and hang out, just for fun. Nothing else to do on a weekend. Just go chill up there. It's not too far from Lake Erie. That's usually then. Then in August, me and my dad don't stay usually all night at this one. One of these years I like to, though. It's the Cassandra Overlook. They host a all-nighter in the beginning of August of every year. It's a big event. A lot of people come to it. The guy that hosts the event, he brings these big giant spotlights. Lights the whole place up like a stadium. It's really cool. Something that me and my dad have been going to for about 4 years. Next year will be 5. It was restarted in 2020, but we didn't go to it that year. We had some other stuff going on that year that we couldn't do it. So 2021 we went. It was really neat. Never been to it. A lot of trains. 3 tracks. Busy. Then in 2022, kind of a slower day, but Mother Nature decided to dump rain on us. Yeah, it rained. It happened this year too. Yeah, not fun. Last year is busy. We had some very interesting trains come through. We had the Norfolk Southern safety train that came through. It had the safety cars, like training firefighters and stuff like that. It was really neat. Then the Amtrak train came through, and the engineer on that train that day, it was his last ride west. He was retiring. He came back that next morning, but we didn't stay for that. But that was something. This year, rain. Yeah, this year it rained a lot. Yeah, it turned the place into a real mud pit. It's not fun. Not really fun at all. It's up there in the mountains. And where it's located is very interesting. It has the old Route 51 bridge. Not used by cars or nothing no more, obviously. Now it's just there where you just stand on there and watch the trains. The trains go right below you. And the exhaust from the locomotives it's really interesting. You could just get a big woof of it. It's really cool. It's something that I think anyone would be interested in going to. It's a very fun event. There's always other events going on besides those events. Nothing right now that's going on that's crazy because it's now getting into the late fall, like fall time and stuff like that. They do photos, stuff like that, photo shoots in certain places. I know over the weekend they hosted a night photo shots up there in Hubbard at one of the Still Valley things, I think it was. One of my, I know him, my dad knows him, a few of us know him, Rick Rowland. He owns a couple of these 040 steam engines. They're not big. They used to work in like the mills in Pittsburgh, J&L mills. He owns pretty much all the surviving ones that the mill had. Besides, there were some that were scrapped, but yeah, there was a lot that were saved. I went there one time. I haven't been there since. I don't know why, but I just haven't had a chance to go there. It'd be a cool place to check out if anyone wants to. It's up there in Hubbard. Not exactly sure where it's at up there. It's off of one of those routes. Also, I'm trying to figure out what else is coming up that might interest you people. On 4 Mile Run, starting this weekend, is the Youngstown Railroad Club is hosting their first open house. They're hosting, having people come and see the train layouts. They have 2 layouts. They have an O-scale layout upstairs and an HO layout downstairs. It's a really cool thing. It's a really neat event. They will have it this weekend, next weekend. Then I think they don't do it the following weekend. Then they do it twice again in December. The first 2 weekends of December, they do it. I was there this year, actually, back in May. One of the train manufacturers actually did they were doing their tour, like they have different train places, and one of those was Youngstown Railroad Club. It was really neat to talk to the CEO of Scale Trains. He was there with his wife and his dog. They were showing us some of their new models that they're coming out with. Really neat, nice people. Got to ask a bunch of questions, asking, "Oh, what are you guys going to do this and that?" Blah blah blah. They left the place open for everyone to just hang out and run model trains. They came and talked to other people, gave away a few free things. It was really neat. It was something I hope they do again in the future because it was awesome. Sebring is having their open house. I don't know when theirs is right off the top of my head. If I find out, I'll let you guys know Wednesday. If not this Wednesday, next Wednesday. On that, what else is coming up? There are a bunch of, there's not really no other train shows coming up either. The next train show I'm aware of is in January in Austintown. The Youngstown Model Train Club is hosting a train show in Austintown, Ohio, off of 4 Mile Run. It's not their actual club place. It's at some kind of reception hall or something like that. It used to be in Salem. It got too expensive to be at the place they had rented for the show, so they moved up there. Not much space where they are now, but it's still pretty neat. Me and my dad do sell some stuff once in a while. Besides that, then in February, I think it's middle of February, at the IX Center in Cleveland, the Great Train Show is going to be there. I plan going to that. This year they had the Rail's Greatest Hobby on tour there. We went to that. That was pretty neat. A lot of the manufacturers were there. Only thing that kind of, I think, was a big disappointment, there's not a lot of new stuff. Like, there's like a lot older stuff. Things that, you have seen over the years. Okay. We did end up buying some stuff, but still, March up in Kirtland, up there near the lake, at the college up there, they're hosting the Train Fest. It's a yearly train show that is always around St. Patrick's Day. It's always a good show. It's just like Berea, but different. And then after that, I really don't think there's any other train shows until July. The National Train Show in Michigan. Me and my dad are talking about going to that because it's not that far. It's only a couple hours. They came to Cleveland 10 years ago. That was pretty neat. It was before some of the newer manufacturers came out. It was kind of crazy at the time. Besides that, then it was this year. Holy crap, I forgot this one. The National Sports Card Show. Yeah, I went to that. That was very interesting. Never been to the National. Yeah, I was very surprised. There's a lot of stuff there and a lot of money on some cards. I don't know if anyone wants to spend like $4,000 on a Ken Griffey Jr. card because someone is selling one of those like Okay, no. So that was a big fat no. There was that. I bought a few cards, obviously. Besides that show, they ain't coming back to Cleveland for maybe a few more years, at least. Well, I see it. Another big thing, before I go off here today, I'm going to talk about this just a little bit, is the locomotive steam engines and the restorations that are going on right now, bringing back some of these locomotives. That's going to be a very big topic I'm going to talk about one day, because it's really interesting. Because we got some very big things that are going to happen here soon. I don't know if it's happening this week. There will be a big announcement sometime soon with the Chesapeake and Ohio 614. They are planning on making a big announcement. Somebody, I don't know who got this locomotive, but they're planning on restoring it back to operation, which last time that locomotive ran was 25 years ago, which, to my knowledge, that's not too long. Not like other steam locomotives, the ones I'm going to talk about soon, like the New York Central 3001. That one, it needs work. They're trying to raise money for that right now, and it's going really well. I want to talk about that one at some point, but I'm going to talk about a little bit about 614 and what the heck is going on with that. It was, I believe, Saturday. Now, there's been rumors going around a couple weeks, a month at least, about this locomotive, and no one really is sure what was going on. Because Ross Rowland, the guy that owned the locomotive, he kind of started hinting at, hey, well, this engine's going to have a new history. It's going to do something. He sold the engine to somebody, but he didn't want to tell nobody because he wanted to keep that a secret. Well, rumors started floating, and on Saturday, a new post was made from them saying something like this: coming 6 or 14, coming soon, a legendary icon is about to make a comeback. An epic unveiling is on the horizon. Brace yourself for a breathtaking announcement to ignite your imagination, stir your soul. More information will be unveiled soon. I don't know what their plans are, but it's really exciting. It is. When I read that, holy crap, this must be very big. Whatever this is going to be about. So, it's right now, it shows a percentage on here, 96%. And I don't know what that means necessarily, but I'm guessing that sometime in the next couple days to a week, we will have an announcement, and I'll talk about it. And hopefully, I could maybe take some calls starting next week. Hopefully, not sure yet. I would have to talk to a few people about that. So that is a very interesting thing. Another project that I've been following for a long time is the construction of the Pennsylvania Railroad T1. Yes, someone's actually building a steam locomotive here in the United States. It's a big engine. It's a 4444. Big engine. They scrapped every single one of these engines that existed. So in 2013, 14, this group started a thing started to see if they could raise money to start building one of these things. And it took off. And they're to the point now that they're halfway there. which is shocking to everybody, shocking to pretty much anyone that doubted them at the beginning of this, because a lot of people didn't think they would reach this point. They're now to the point to have the frame completely finished. The frame's being built down in New Philadelphia, Ohio. There's also been other rumors about this engine and where it's going to be assembled. And I heard a little thing about it a couple of weeks ago at an event I went to. Because one of the guys that was at the event, he and his club had the manager of the T1 Trust at the event to talk about the engine. The buzz that was going around the whole place was the locomotive's assembly place. Well, I guess it was made clear that its assembly place is going to be another place I'm going to talk about, not today, but in the next couple of weeks, is Silvis, Illinois. You may be wondering to yourselves, what is in Silvis, Illinois? It's an old Rock Island shop. It's owned by the RRAHM. What the heck is that, you may ask? It's a group that owns the Milwaukee Road 261 in St. Paul, Minnesota. And, why would they need a big shop for one steam engine? Well, that's something that I'm going to talk about in the next couple of weeks. Why did they need to buy a big shop? Well, just a hint, they bought it for a reason. They bought it for a big engine that was donated to them. Just not that locomotive. It also was brought, other engine that was given to them was a big diesel. The biggest diesel, the world's largest diesel that was ever built. Which, okay, why the heck? They still don't need a big shop like that. Yeah, I get it. But they plan on turning that place into a restoration shop for a bunch of steam engines in the future. And probably a very big event that's going to happen there, hopefully one day, to host a steam reunion. Yeah, a steam engine reunion. That'd be kind of neat. Wouldn't it be? Because I would think. Have all the steam engines come together in one place. It'd be really cool to have the 611, the 4014, the 844, 765, 1225, 2716, 576, 261, 3751, 2926, 3001, and a bunch of others. And one day, the daylight and all them. That'd be really neat, actually, because we haven't had something like that. No steam reunion. They have had diesel reunions. They had some back in 2015 or something like that. They had Streamliners in Spencer, North Carolina. They had all these really fancy diesels down there. It was really neat. I didn't go to that, sadly. I was in high school then, and it was it'd been cool. That's where the restoration for the Norfolk Western 611 started. Was at the event. Wick Mormon, the CEO at that time, the CEO of Norfolk Southern, had started a steam program. And the main engine was they wanted a 611. Why? Because 611 is a queen of steam. She's the only one of her kind to survive. She's a 484 Northern J-class locomotive. Norfolk Western built these locomotives in a couple classes, a couple times, and 611 was built in 1950. You may say, 1950? That's kind of odd. Yeah, some railroads really didn't go to diesels technically until later. And Norfolk Western was one of them. So they decided, we got to build some more J-class locomotives. Okay. So 1959, 1960 came, and a lot of steam engines are scrapped. And 611 was one of the lucky ones that didn't get scrapped. And today it survives and it still runs. However, right now, it doesn't really have a place to run because all the places that the one place that was running last year, kind of, it was not their fault. It was the people at the Virginia Transportation Museum. All these guys decided to just up and leave. Why? I don't know. Because no one really knows what the heck that was all about at that time. And it's like, oh crap, what's going to happen here? So 611 sits dormant in Virginia, Roanoke, Virginia, with nowhere to run. Besides, they could take it back to Strasburg, which that will be a topic I really want to talk about because a lot of people might be interested in hearing about that because actually, just a little teaser, actually I had a chance and I did it. I was a fireman on 611. Yeah, I'm going to get into that another day, but just a little teaser there. Yes, I was a fireman on that locomotive. How? I'll talk about that another day. It was fun. Set up in a cab of a steam engine. Never in my life I thought I would do that, but especially one that is well known. So everybody, I would thank you everybody for listening to my first episode. I'm very excited for the show to continue, and I have hopefully to get more guests on here. There's probably gonna be a week here. I'm thinking to have. We're gonna talk about food. One of my friends named Josh, he wants to come on here and we're gonna talk about food. A part of the show, so that's gonna be interesting. But Bryce is gonna be probably on here the most. I'm hoping to get more people on here than just Bryce at some point. So it's gonna be real interesting. I'm very excited. I will be on here on Wednesday from 2:30 to 4:30, talking about all kinds of stuff, previewing Martinsville, and talking about this weekend's sports and getting ready for all that. So thank you, everybody, for listening.